having to mow so much grass at the end of August in East Tennessee to get ready for this. So a lot of thanks go out to the crew that worked really hard to put this thing together. And we thank them for all the work that they've done. My wife is here this morning. She's the heartbeat of this thing. She keeps everything going while I'm on the road. And even when I'm at home, she's in the back here with our boys. One of the boys is in school, but we've got Oliver here in the hat, and Will on Mom's lap this morning. So I was told Oliver was going to take the microphone, but I see he's got a donut, so he might be I just wanted to talk a little bit about how we came to be. David is my mom's brother, and he moved to Morristown in 1982 and worked for Phillips, which was part of Phillips North American at the time. And he decided that he wanted to have his own gig. So in 1988, he left Anchor Brush, which I think I said that wrong. Anchor Brush was part of North American Phillips. He left Anchor Brush and started his own factory, Team Technologies in town, which manufactured toothbrushes and medical equipment. He did that until 2012. Sold the company then and bought this property. When they sold the company, he had 12 facilities in 8 states. So he had a pretty good run at the factory. David got interested in cattle in 2012 and started talking to me about how to implement a program here. So we've been building this thing ever since. Since 2012, we've grown the operation from the property here to approximately 900 acres in Hamblin and Greene County. And now we have about 300 breeding age females here at Mountain View Ranch. But that didn't stop him. David had the opportunity to buy an additional ranch in Maxwell, New Mexico. It's called the Reverse Rocky Marv. So he bought that ranch probably about 2015 is when we started out there. That ranch is about 7,000 acres at 6,200 feet and helps host majority of activities, including the purebred program and a bull development program. We'll hear a little bit more about that. In addition to that, he also had the opportunity to purchase a ranch in southern Colorado, the Oasis Ranch. The Oasis Ranch is a 12,000 acre ranch, and we have 200 head of commercial cattle that we use to propagate genetics, and it also has a large scale alfalfa and wheat operation on it. A little bit more about me. I was born and raised in Illinois. I'm a 4th generation cattle rancher. I almost didn't come to be. My great-grandfather was ranching out in South Dakota, and they had a horrific blizzard one winter. They lost the entire herd in South Dakota, and they burned every piece of furniture in the house that winter to keep warm. So we have a long ranching history in our family, and this is something that we just love to do. Up in Illinois, our family was in the registered Hereford business for about 30 years, 60s, 70s, and 80s. In the 1980s, the Angus Association had done such a terrific job promoting Angus cattle that Dad made the decision to convert to black hides in order to gain more value at the sale barn. And so in the 80s, he brought home some black bulls. And I think today there might be 1 or 2 white-faced animals left on the home place. So we're predominantly all Angus at that farm now as well. I had the opportunity, I went to Montana State from 2005 to 2008, got a degree in agriculture, and spent 3 years in Bozeman. While I was in Bozeman, I spent some weekends branding calves at the Sitz Ranch, the Lazy SR, and the S-Bar Z. So I had a great time, 3 of the best years of my life, studying, and working cattle out there. After Montana State, we moved back back to the Illinois farm to help Dad with the cattle. And through conversations with David, it became apparent that he needed a little bit more help down here. So in 2016, my wife and I moved the family down here, and we've been in East Tennessee for the last 2 years working with the Mountain View Ranch program. The goal of the Mountain View Ranch program is a lot like other seed-stock programs in the country. We're in it to produce cattle that excel for our customer. We didn't always have the best cattle in our commercial herd. We ended up with a Solier bull one time, and I ended up running away from a lot of cattle and fixing a lot of fence. And so we also kept a group of heifers that had some bad udders, and I soon learned that quality investment genetics can pay dividends, and I got really excited about the business and the breed, being able to produce cattle that can go out and help other people solve some of the problems that we all have on the range. We've got some display cattle out here in the corner. I kind of brought up the donor pen this morning. There'll be a handout with those cattle and their pedigrees. I invite everybody to walk through them, take a look at them today. And if you have any questions about them, be sure to get a hold of me. There's one heifer in there in particularly I'd like to point out. We call her 6832. We think that she's going to be the new heartbeat of this program. 6832 is a discovery daughter out of a cow called 1022. 1022 is one that's really making a name for herself in the breed and really blends phenotype and EPDs together almost as well as we've seen in the industry so far. We had a big purchase this spring. We bought a bull Baldridge alternative out of North Platte, Nebraska to serve as one of our new herd sires here. Baldridge alternative was the lot 1 top selling bull in North Platte at Judd Baldridge's sale. We have some partners on him. Just an excellent bull, thick top, great feet, outcross, and about rope to ride, I think, as far as docility. So he's out breeding cattle at the ranch in New Mexico right now and doing a terrific job for us. So far, we've sold 1,000 units of semen on him, and I've got some in the closet, so if anybody's interested in using him, we can get that to you without any shipping on it. I'd like to point out that some of our heifers are excelling in the show ring. It just warms my heart when we take a performance heifer and put her in the show ring, and she does good things for us. So we had a heifer come out here that won Reserve Grand Champion at one of the local fairs down in Cotton County this summer. So we'd like to congratulate Sarah Orr and Mallory Fancher on that job. Well done. The fall sale, the last 2 years we've had a fall sale here at this facility. This year we're going to do something different. Anybody who's been in this business a while knows that putting on a sale takes a lot of cattle. So this year we sent our best females to Maxwell, New Mexico, and they're going to sell there in a joint sale on November 10th. There's going to be internet bidding, and then there's free nationwide delivery. So if anybody here has any interest in those cattle or genetics, they will be delivered to your doorstep on us. Special guests. This is a tour. This is not a Mountain View only event. So we've got some special guests. Robert Stinson from Stinson Angus brought 3 pair, which I'm going to call Pen 2. So be sure and check those cattle out. And Jason and Kristen's boys back there were up at dawn this morning getting the cattle ready, and they've got the halter display out there. So we thank them for coming and being a part of this today too. I get the honor and the privilege to work with a guy who works at this harder than anybody that I know. A guy who basically lives in his pickup truck and doesn't do this from 9 to 5. He does this 24/7. His name is Chris Earl. I met Chris about 10 years ago at Sunny Valley Farm in Yorkville, Illinois. Back then we were neighbors about 5 miles apart. He's kind of got me mentored me and showed me how to breed good cattle. I think he does a pretty good job at breeding cattle, and I'd like to invite him to the microphone to share some of his 30 years of professional experience in the business and kind of tell us what's coming next. So, Chris Earl.
Thank you, Dan. Great speech, by the way. All the practicing paid off for you, so that's good. My name's Chris Earl, and appreciate Dave and Nick having me here today. I don't want to speak a lot about myself today, but I want to give a quick introduction of my background, because the important people really are you. You know, I found that through 30 years of business. The small breeder, the one that's overlooked many times, really is the lifeblood of business. And you are the majority, and I think therefore, you know, you need focus, both from representatives of the business, both from associations. Obviously, we can see a mineral company here today. Without you all, this thing doesn't go. That's as simple as it gets. And there's a lot of pressure to get, and there's a lot of pressure these days that you don't exist. I mean, the big get bigger, the big want the market. And that's consistent in any business. What we have to realize, I think, and I'll kind of cover that at the end, is that there's a lot more attributes to this way of life than genetics. You see kids out there showing heifers. My wife and I, we have 6 kids. I have 4 grandkids. I got 2 sons running a ranch. You know, there's a lot of things that add to the quality of life through the Angus business than just trying to raise a prime carcass. And I think those things need to be fought for. And, you know, my hope is that the majority of people here feel the same. So, quick introduction. My name is Chris Earl. I've been in the Angus business 30 years. I had the great honor of getting hired by a man named George Block back at Sunny Valley Farm. As the manager, I was 26 years old. We had kids coming crazy. I mean, it was a chaotic time. But I got thrown in the fire. I got thrown in the fire with a 3-phase operation. We fed 1,000 head a year. We ran 250 mother cows. We were in a terrible bull market. I was 60 miles from each airport in Chicago. I had no bull market. And I didn't have an operating note. And I worked with, the first week I was hired, George Block died. One of the best cancer specialists, great people I've ever had a chance to come across. And it was me and a doctor's wife for 20 years. And so I learned to manage cash flow. I learned to run a business through genetics. And as I'm 51 now, I look back at that chaotic time, and it was a true blessing. It was a true blessing. How do you position yourself genetically to get paid for it and run a business? And I think that's one thing in the Angus business that is lost, and that's the last word, business. It's a business. I told Nick yesterday, my phone calling in or going out 2 days ago, I had 57 calls. And most of that is people questioning, answering, you know, feeling around on how to make a way through this. And so I know I was asked here to go on genetic trends and that kind of thing. Look, I'm here to tell you there are no genetic trends. I do 100,000 miles a year. There's individual programs in 5 major regions of the country that are building brands. And I would challenge you to look at the business that way. Build your brand. I'm not a good follower. I've got a consulting company for 10 years. I don't consult any of my clients to be a follower. You know, I got one standard rule of thumb. I like cashing checks better than I like writing. Have we bought a lot of cattle? Yes. Will we continue to buy cattle? Yes. But it's all in the hope that it adds to the investment of your program to run a profitable business. I'm a faithful guy that can go on and sustain a lifestyle for your kids, your grandkids in this great way of life. That's as simple as my mission gets. That's as simple as my mission gets. The tough part about it comes, how do you take genetics and make that happen? So I often quote a survey. And the survey, it surveyed, I think it had 80,000 or 100,000 replies in multiple species. List the top 10 things that you buy on. that you buy genetics on? Can somebody tell me what the number one is? When you go and buy, what's the number one thing that you think most people buy? Cavities. You gotta have a live one. Gotta have a corn plant come out of the ground. Nothing happens without life. I'm a big pro-life guy, by the way, so it translates to everything. So, nothing happens without life, right? You know what number two was? 80,000 requests now, 80,000 replies. Not many people get this. Diversity of product. Diversity of product. So when you go to town, when you go to a sale, how many people go to buy what they already have? Not many. You go to buy to add, to diverse yourself. And I think it's a great translation to the Angus business. Right now we're seeing a huge push. Go through the sale catalog section on the American Angus Association website. By the way, and I'll cover this real quick at the end. And I think Alex is here, and I think I got this right, but I heard the Angus Association web sale page in 2017 had 37 million page views. 37 million. That's how many people are actively looking. Actively looking. So, vertical integration all wants us to be the same. It all wants to gather us up in one tunnel. In order that it can be bought, it can be spaced out, or it can go to a bigger deal. I challenge you to fight that. And I challenge you to fight that in the goals you choose to use. And the moment you follow and you hope to have success like your neighbor, which could be a good short-term goal, but a long-term goal, you want to be your neighbor. You want to be Shaw Angus. You want to be Baldridge Angus. You want to be Gardner Angus Ranch. These people build brands. Go back and look at their first sales. If you think you're struggling, you think you're trying to make it, these people stuck to it. We look at them now. We look at a lot of these programs now and we want to compare apples to oranges. You go back and look, these people were gritty. They were gritty and they had the other combination of they loved genetics. They loved genetics. They're competitive people. They didn't want to lose. They didn't want to lose. I would challenge every small breeder to find that in their business. If that's their expectation. Part of what I do too through my consulting thing is manage expectations. Now, do I translate a lot of what I am? Yes, I'm a competitive guy. I want everybody to be Shaw's, a branded name or Gardner or whatever. I want everyone to have that exposure. And if that's what you want, there's a path. There's a way. And I would not be here today saying there wasn't if we still couldn't buy semen for $20 or $30. It gives you the ability to compete with every guy in the country. You just got to make the right choice. That's where the breeder comes in. That's where the breeder comes in. Are we making the right genetic choices that we can position ourselves to the marketplace? And I can tell, especially over the last 12 to 24 months, people are struggling with that. They're struggling because they read the paper, they read the journal, they read the sale reports, and instead of focusing on building their brand, they fall into the category of, well, this is what people want, this is what I got to do, this is what I should do. No. Build your brand. Build your brand. Have an expectation. Some of you have other walks of life, you've done well in other things. Have the same expectation of the Angus business that you do in other business you run. I see it a lot. I see very advanced, brilliant people, hard workers, have built things up from the ground, tremendous companies. I've seen them all. But for some reason, when we get in the Angus business, we want to treat this thing part-time. We want to treat a little genetic thing like a thing of gold, like it's never going to lose value, No, we have to be, it's 24/7. This is a small business. It's 24/7. It's got to be worked. It's got to be, worked at on a daily basis. The other thing I challenge you on, the internet has really hurt this business. Really hurt it. 30 years ago, 25 years ago, I can remember my kids were this big, baseball games, all this. You know, and I go tell my wife, I got 2 sales I got to go to here. I got my best bull buyer. I need to go down and see his calves. Now people go to their desk and their computer and they think they're participating in the Angus business. I'm here to tell you, you're not. You're not. What you're reading in the journal, a lot of that ain't true. What you're seeing in a picture, that ain't the bull of the heifer. That ain't. This thing takes work. I'm an old-time conservative. We are responsible for the decisions we make. Nobody else. We are responsible for the decisions we make. That's genetics, that's cattle, that's everything you do in your business. Everything you do in your business. There's somebody in every turn that is looking, 1, to get inside your wallet, 2, to get you out of the business, because you're competition. So the challenge is, how do we fight that? How do we realize it? And then how do we take our genetics and plow through this thing? So the end here, what I'd like to finish with is just encapsulate 1. I know I'm just here to talk about genetics, but I don't believe in all genetics. This thing's individual to me. I don't look at a bull and then write a bull off. I don't look at a cow family and then write the cow family off. It's all about the individual. The Angus business to me is about secretariat. That's how I've always correlated. I got to work with a cow named Forever Lady 163. Everything that I do in the cattle business, she was the ideal cow to me. Everything I do, I evaluate that animal to her because she was the gold standard. And if we're here, if we're getting paid, and if we're doing this much emphasis, don't get lost on the PR. Get lost in the individual of the animal. That's what we're looking at. Genetics, as simple as EPDs make it look, as simple as genomics think they make it look, it's not. It's not. I'm in every region, on every ranch, and I see every kind of sire group. And I'm telling you, this thing ain't that easy. It's not that easy to sit at that desk and put numbers together. It's not. It's not. It won't work. It'll be the quickest way out of the business. It'll be the quickest way out of the business. Get out, meet the people. You get a true feel for if the data is honest. Meet the people. Meet the program. See the cattle. Does the animal, I always tell people all the time, does the animal reflect its EPDs? If we don't have an animal that's reflecting the EPDs and we only got good EPDs, I'm telling you right now, if that animal shows up at another place, I don't care what its numbers are. It's not going to do your program any good. Match the two. Match the two is the key. Does that animal reflect it? They don't got to be extreme. Does that animal reflect its EPD profile? Lastly, we have to be in the marketplace. I'll bet I've had 4 to 5 people quit on sales on me this year. Didn't want to have it. Scared. It's basically what it boils down to. Fearful of what the market will be. That is counter who Chris Earle's about. I can tell you that. You know, if I put the work in and I believe in my product, I want that sucker to go in the ring. I want somebody else to tell me what it's worth. We need price discovery in this business. People need to have sales. People need to be able to fight that within themselves that's fearful of saying what somebody else thinks of your product, because I guarantee you the first 2 years, you will take a kicking. You will take a kicking, and guess what? You should. These people want to know what you're about. They want to know, is this a program or not? Am I just trading cattle here, or am I buying from a program? That's what people want. We're good. There's a lot of great people in this business, and they're judging more than your animal that day. They're judging you. And that's the way it should be. That's what I really enjoy. I'm passionate about really 3 things in my life. The Lord, which translates to family, people, and Angus genetics. I'm passionate about those 3. And those 3 things can bring a terrific business. A terrific business. And without you all as small breeders pushing that, calling the American Angus Association and demanding you're important, demanding I get service. I'm paying into a system. If this thing, I want education. If you don't know what an EPD is, you don't know how it's derived, educate yourself. Learn to talk it. Learn to tell people if you think this thing's right or wrong. Learn to tell people in your own program if you don't like that animal, this one's good, this one's bad. Russ Deneau, John Anderson, two of my biggest mentors when I was a young person in this business. You know why? I went into their herd, I jumped in their truck, rode through their things. They had more bad things to say about the cattle than good. I learned a lot that day. It might have been great sale mode, but I thought it was honest. And I believe today it was honest. And I think it gives you a lot of going forward, that you can compete, that you can do this, but we need to get out from this business. As a small breeder, if you don't want to see this thing go away, you've got to get out. You've got to let people know, I got a product, we think it'll work good for you, and I'd like to start this relationship. So, really appreciate you coming. It's great to see a lot of small breeders in a great part of the country. Look forward to the rest of the day. I think I got a little time. If we got any questions or anything, I see a lot of cattle, there's a lot of programs. Anyone got any questions, I'm more than willing to take them. So, okay, so what I'd like to do is, I got a great friend, and I think it adds kind of to the day, and Steve Stratford's his name. We met 14 years ago, Crack, Kansas. I can think of no relationship that I rely on more, to be honest with you, to stay true in the business. Steve handles as many feeder cattle. He has more trusting people in him over a lifespan that I can think of. He is where the rubber meets the road on value. This is a guy that people need to get to know. This is a guy that knows the people component of the business. He's also an Angus breeder. He's got a great eye. He sees cattle every day, buys cattle every day, and I think it's a great attribute to have him here for you all to hear him today. So, Steve Stratford, thanks.
Hello. I'd like to thank Dave and Nick for having me. By the time I get done, you guys will probably wonder why. I don't have a lot of a resume other than I've done it my whole life. I started over buying cattle when I was 14. Done it for 30 years. To this day, I buy everything from bucket calves to 9-week steers. By no means a success story. I'm a broke cattle feeder and Angus breeder every day, wondering how to put it all together. I place 50 to 75,000 cattle a year to some of the major feeding firms in the country. Calves to backgrounders, stockers, wheat pasture cattle. Buy commercial cows, females for people. We sell 250, 300 bulls a year. I came into the Angus business on the other side of it. I started out as an order buyer and sale barn guy. Did not like the lonely feeling that people dump their calves one day a year and their hard work, gets sold in 5 minutes. So I started selling bulls. I started buying bulls from Chris to sell actually, and then decided to start breeding them myself. I'm there for the little guy every week. I make sure the 20s and 30s bring the same as the pot loads. I support my customers. My customers have calves in the sale, I'm there. I don't care where it's at. I'll be on the internet, I'll be there in person. I do nothing magic, I'm not a magician. I can only sell them so high, but I can make sure that they don't take less than the market. And more than anything, they feel comfortable, they got somebody there. They're there one day a year. With that said, everybody always asks, what can they do? What do they need to do? People spend a lot of money on stuff that honestly doesn't pay. The two biggest things in calves and feeders both are predictability of health and predictability of performance. And if you don't have the health, people don't care about the performance. It's pretty plain and simple. The other thing in my mind that people overlook, they're always looking for the new deal. There's a superior rep comes by, or another sale barn guy comes by. you've got to be loyal to a program. I mean, you've got to sell them at the same place and allow somebody to work for you. If you jump around all the time, you know, nobody knows where you're at and how to help you. The guy that buys your cattle is only going to get what second place makes him get. You know, all their worth's what the second guy makes him get. So you've got to sell your cattle somewhere that 2 or 3 people want them next year. And that's the only way you start building a reputation to get what your cattle are worth. And it's kind of like the purebred business that Chris referred to. You may not top the market the first time or two, but if you have faith in your product, you've got to put them there and know that after 3 or 4 different people got them, you'll start getting more for them. And I see it every day. I mean, you know, we got cattle that come in, and I know 2 weeks in advance they're coming in, I'm working on those cattle. And the guy I sent them to last year wants those cattle. And information travels. I mean, they'll find them. I mean, if they want them, if you're in the same place, there's an order buyer that'll get a hold of them. The battle we're facing now is that the barn's full of corporate buyers. They have a figure on a card and they're only going to give so much. And they'll team up if there's not individuals here. And we've got the individual cattle feeders in the business. You know, we got 4 corporate guys and they'll sit there and take turns if there's not 2 or 3 of us other guys there. Like I say, my resume is not that deep. I'm not the best public speaker in the world probably, but I would love to field any questions you have now, you know, after, prior, in between. All I can tell you is I've seen people be very successful. I've seen people fail. So, you know, I've seen it all. And then that list gets added to every day. So anyway, if anybody has any questions, I'll be glad to tell you what I know.
What's your typical order when you come out to a place to buy a load of steers or you look at it?
You know, most people think they're specialists, I guess, anymore, and they'll have a typical order. You know, last week I bought 2,500 cattle in 2 sales, and I kid you not, I bought roping calves for the community college, and I brought open rebreed cows. I sell feeding cows to outfits in Iowa, Illinois, out of the slaughter run. I guess the bulk of the cattle I buy would be 800 to 950 pound cattle. But I really have no typical order. I mean, I buy everything. You know, there's nothing that when that door opens, I don't have an order for.
Steve, what's the spread like on some of these black-hatted cattle versus some of the non-black-hatted cattle? And how important is it to have them in good condition to grow a sale barn?
You know, that's a basis thing that varies throughout the year. Like this time of year in our region, the feeder cattle numbers are low, so the colored cattle, reds and shards are very closer to what a black one does the rest of the year. I'm going to say on a yearly basis, a load of all black Angus cattle that have some kind of reputation behind them will bring $5 to $7 a hundred above just commodity cattle, you know, 3 colored cattle. Where the spread gets really big is in October and November when there's thousands of calves in every state available. That's when your colored cattle or your cattle without the vaccination programs start taking an awful big deduct. You know, they'll get to where they're $20, $25 behind the market when there's ample supply. In our world, the feeder cattle do the same thing in March, April, you know, when every barn's got 5,000 to 6,000 of them. You know, the spread gets a lot bigger then. So I'd say $5 a hundred on predictability of their Angus cattle, you know, and handled right. But you can have the best Angus calf in the world, and if you've run him at home, and he's fat and he's full, you're not gonna like the price compared to commodity cattle that are green. Uh, You know, it's plain and simple. I mean, you gotta give the cattle feeder something to work with. And quite honestly, we'll probably overpay for condition. I mean, we really will. I mean, you show us the right one that'll perform, we probably get more than that performance is worth. The margins in the cattle feed are horrible. We do it basically for fun. I mean, try to compete with the corporates.
You feed on grass, what's a good weight to some of the markets, steers?
To go on to slaughter or to,
Basically, you take them to an auction house, and what's a good weight? If you have plenty of grass, you can feed them out.
if I had a steer and was telling you, I would sell that steer from $7.75 to $9. The heifer, I would probably pull the top side of that down to $8.50. Most feeding outfits shy away from a 9-weight heifer, and you get over a 9-weight steer, you start losing bidders real fast. Especially this time of year, for lack of a better term, in my world we call them Yankees, but most of the good feeder cattle are going to Iowa, Illinois, Nebraska. And the packer buyers are rougher on those guys than they are in western Kansas. And so they're worried about heavyweight carcasses. There's a lot of times you can buy the 980-pound steer for the same dollars per head as a 9-weight steer. And an 850 will bring awfully close to the same dollars as a 9-weight. I wouldn't get them too big, especially when corn's cheap. That's what they're doing. They're buying a feeder to use the corn.
How do you see small people best representing if they have their calves on a vaccination program and say a mineral program? How do you see the small farmer letting that be known at the sale barn, or where the buyers know that they've been conditioned, say 45 days, they've been on a vaccination program, a mineral program?
I see a lot of barns in the southeast starting to do it, but the best thing is to let them know. First, you've got to go to a market or a sale barn that does a good job of letting people know. Information's key. If there's a load of kids in the ring and I just call somebody up cold, it's hard for them to jump right then. I send out email blasts to all my people what the barns I go to are going to have Monday night, Tuesday night, Wednesday night, and give them some prep time. It would be the same thing in a small group, would be more important than that. So they can look at that consignment sheet and say, hey, I can put this, this, and this together, to where if somebody calls them cold and says there's 20 head here, well, what am I going to do with 20 head? Advertising them, allowing them to know that there's cattle that are handled the same, that can be put together, would be key, and that's where you sell them. I'm sure, in our region, there's sale barns that work a lot harder for the seller than the buyer, per se. And I'm an anomaly, I guess, in order buying, because I want the cattle to bring the most. I want to support my customers, And I have people ask, well, how do you keep the order on the other end? You always give them, The cattle cost the end user the same. It's just how much I make. I make 50 cents a 100 on commission only. If you're at a little sale barn and they rob them from you, and it's a little order buyer, he's just going to put $3 a 100 on those cattle. The end user's not getting any cheaper. It's just who in the middle is making the money. And so, I would get with an auction market that does a good job of advertising and it's working for you. That'd be the most important key. And if that means hauling them 75 miles further, where I live, which is a little different country, but on a weekly basis, we have cattle from 200-300 miles coming in there. just because we do a good job of sorting, handling them, selling them, we have the right buyer crowd. And small barns are gonna really fight that because with everything else, the big just keep getting bigger. And the big outfits won't send a buyer, you know, if they can't get a lot of cattle. So, right, wrong, or indifferent, you know, your bigger markets that have more cattle, more buyers, is who you're gonna have to build a relationship with.
Steve, that being said, we had an East Tennessee cattle run sale last night, that ram cattle.
Yes, sir.
And they sold fairly well. The lot selling for $1.50. And you go outside, you go, like you were talking about, you go 75 miles north or south, they may be $1.60. What do we do as a group of helping our sale barns to attract buyers that's going to pay that premium?
You know, I'm 43. Probably got a smartphone 4 years ago and learned how to use email about 3 ago. But it's actually an awfully good tool. And it's amazing, even my 80-year-old clients, they might not be able to send me an email, but they can open one and look at it, or have their wife do it. This time of year, if I was in your country, I would find somehow, some way to get an email list of the Iowa, Illinois, Nebraska corn farmers and the individual feeders. They'll buy your cattle if they know they're available. I mean, they just will. The problem is that even in today's world, a lot of it goes unknown. You know, or a sale that doesn't have pot loads very often, or pot loads of preconditioned cattle, they're not just going to happen on to it this week when you do have 5 loads of them or 10 loads of them. So I guess that's up to the auction market to put that information out there. I mean, like if they got my email, I mean, that's all I do. I have no hobbies. I mean, I do this all day, every day, so I would watch out of boredom. I don't watch anything else. So, you know, if I could sell them, I'll be bidding on them. So, you know, that they need to reach out to people and don't think they're bugging people. You know, I didn't want to ever do that stuff because I thought they don't want a bunch of crap in their email from me, but they love it.
Right.
I mean, and honestly, it saves me a lot of time instead of them calling and say, hey, what do you got tomorrow? And I think there's a human factor to that they wouldn't call. Well, if they had something, they'd call. I mean, you know, they didn't want to bother me. And so, you know, I found great reception to it. And I get a lot of orders from it. And hey, I saw that you're going to have this. So, you know, email's free and easy. And I'd make sure where I sold my cattle has, you know, an email, and I'm way out of the region. I mean, you know, I buy cattle all over. I mean, you know, so will everybody else. You know, they just got done.
This felt like last night, you know, we backgrounded all these cattle, I think there's probably some 900 head back. Two or three low lots and then some other fields. But, you know, I felt like we got a pretty good price on it. I felt like north of where we were at, 70 miles, south of where we were at, 70 miles, the past 2 weeks was probably a nickel to 10 cents better. And I think that this thing's gonna keep running up here. We've got to find our premium buyer.
Yeah, it'll just take one or two. I mean, you know, we have 2 or 3 guys that make our auction every week. You know, if they didn't come, it'd be 5 lower immediately. You know, it's just, you know, the corporates are going to give whatever their card reads, and whatever the monkeys that get paid $100,000 above them tell them to give, and that's all they're going to do.
Right.
They have no judgment, they have no call, they can't sell the cattle if they're higher than that. And that's their limit. You know, it takes somebody still selling to the private sector to make them give what their card says. And, you know, we're very lucky in our region. We have 2 or 3 people that do that. But there's barns south of us that don't. And, you know, it's a struggle. You know, the sale barn guy has to run them. And then that, you know, upsets the buyers. You know, they don't like the sale barn guy running. you know, like I say, there's only so many cattle I can sell, but I can promise you this, if I get the email and watching it, you're not gonna sell cattle 5 bucks in the market. You know, I can sell those in the wrong phone number.
Right.
You know, just getting the people with an imagination, everybody's so driven to get the corporate buyers in there. They're not gonna do a favor for you. I mean, they're there for themselves. And if there's more cattle than each one individually can handle, they'll team up. You know, just like the slaughter cow market, I'm sure everybody's seen that. You know, that's the only reason I carry a feeder cow, or I don't like sitting there and watching one cow at a time for 4 hours. But we get 600 cows in our room, the corporate cow buyers have dropped at 10 bucks. And there's no stopping it. And so, you know, I just call my guy and say, hey, we're overloaded, can you take 2 loads of cows? And I just screw with them all night. You know, if I end up with 2 loads of cows, great. If I don't, I made them give up the carts that you get.
How endangered do you think these auction markets are with these 100,000 head video sales?
There's good and bad with the video, and obviously it's a great tool for certain parts of the region. I'm not going to degrade the video auction. Personally, I'm a live auction guy. You know, there's a feel there, there's the competitive nature there, and we've lost that in all of the livestock markets in the world. And so I hate to lose it in the feeder cattle and calf business. The 20, 30, 40 head guys can never sell their cattle in the video. It won't work. I mean, they just can't. And so the auction barn's going to be there, and you need the bigger guys to stay in the auction, so the little guys, if it's all little bitty groups, your market's going to drop. I mean, you've got to have them big groups of cattle that set the pace to make the little groups $1 or $2 behind, you know, up here worth of money. The video's expensive. It's going to cost you to sell your cattle however you do it. I guess I urge everybody to put them in a live auction. I think that's the best for the industry. And again, I'm not bagging on Superior, but I think the small barns are going to go away, and you're going to have more regional sale barns. I mean, every state's going to have 3. You know, or just the big's going to get bigger, just for the buying force.
You buy on the video auction?
I hate to admit it, I do, because I have some customers that sell on it. I try to support them when they're on it. Other than that, no, I'm as infrequent as that as I am church. So I try to stay away from it. Is that it?
Anybody have any more questions for Steve? Let's give Steve a round of applause. Steve flew all the way from Kansas last night. He got in at midnight. We really appreciate him coming to be with us today. He's got some great insight into the cattle market, and got great admiration